It is obvious that now is the time to prepare. It is obvious that we are entering a planned, again, this is all pre-planned. This is a recession. We're hearing this all over the media, all over CNBC. We're hearing all kinds of politicians talk about it. We're hearing the bankers talk about it. Jamie Dimon, most recently, warning of a financial hurricane. The Federal Reserve talking about it. We see unemployment picking up. We see Fortune 100 cutting jobs. And so the whole overarching theme as we approach the end of the year, and again, this is all planned, ladies and gentlemen, so you should position, pivot, and prepare now. And I'm going to go over specifics on how to do that today as we enter the heart of the economic financial reset and ultimately the storm that they themselves have designed. Because of course, this is all by design. They have complete influence over monetary fiscal policy. They can print as much money at the purse as they want. They can manipulate financial systems and markets any way they want. So let's go through a couple of just cold, hard facts, okay, that we're seeing right now. Massive layoffs, not just in tech, from Apple Computers, Google, Meta, even 7-Eleven, parent company of Facebook, even 7-Eleven has just fired thousands of employees. Okay, so we're seeing hiring freezes, as is the case of Google. We're seeing job losses and also surprise layoffs. Now, a lot of this is coming from tech because, of course, we've been riding a massive, massive asset boom over the last couple of years. Valuations soared in various sectors as a result of the pandemic. Now keep this in mind. The bubbles were blown intentionally as a result of the pandemic, and the fallout as a result of the lockdowns, shutdowns, the forced work from home trends, which there's some positivity, to this as well. Like, I'm an advocate of that, are now forcing an economic financial bubble to pop. So just keep that in mind. It's these politicians and it's these bankers and it's your leadership that caused this, along with the Federal Reserve. They're primarily and solely responsible for everything that's going to happen and how bad it's going to get. So, we've seen the headlines and we all understand the truth, whether or not this is farmers in the Midwest of America saying that their crops are dying due to excessive heat. We've seen intentional destruction in some cases. This is what many of these farmers allege of crops. We've seen food supply manufacturing plants targeted, go down in surprising fires out of the middle of nowhere. Ukraine, obviously, the intentional halting of exports of wheat and other key ingredients, sunflower oil, etc. Although we have seen some improvement. Actually, there's been some positive news with the reopening of Nord Stream 1. At least temporarily, it appears Vladimir Putin is easing up just a tad. In addition to that, there was a new agreement signed by Russia and a couple other nation states regarding grain exports today. Like in places like Sudan, for example, food prices have gone up 200%. Okay, when you're making, $5 a day or whatever it is, and your food costs double overnight, right? Not just up like 50% here in the West, where you have maybe a higher standard of living, people literally starve. And so that's been a byproduct, again, of all these policies, which I told you this was going to happen. The shutdown of the economy planned by those in power to do that, to shut everything down between non-essential and only the essential Fortune 100s, has caused famine, okay, has caused these countries to be in short supply of badly needed goods, medicine, etc. And we should all pray that these conditions improve. So we have three things top of mind today. And by the way, thank you for your birthday wishes. I do appreciate it. I had a wonderful birthday. I did talk to a few of you on the phone yesterday. I've got a few more phone calls to make. And if you join school today by clicking the link below and get in at bitcoinrich.com, not only do you save 50% off today only this Friday with the promo code Island Project, one word, but also give the next 10 a personal phone call today that joins. Just to reward you, plus I love chatting with you guys. I learn from you as well. And we have a lot of content at school, a lot more deep dive content on how to create cash flows, what you should be doing, how you should be pivoting in this market, series of videos. You can learn about staking rewards, how to create cash flows, how to get your side hustle on, how to start a new business, a job in the blockchain tech space, of which I'm an expert and I've been teaching for over a decade here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So make sure you take advantage of that today, because what else are you going to do? Again, you've got to play offense, but we have 3 major points that I want to talk about today. So make sure you register. I want to see you there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read your names off too at the end of this video. 3 major things: food insecurity, job insecurity, energy insecurity. I would say country insecurity. There's tremendous insecurity and sovereign state risk. Notice there's more American expats leaving the country. There's more people, more Americans, previous American citizens, renouncing U.S. citizenship. We're also seeing Americans live abroad or go move to places like Sicily or Central America or Mexico. Portugal's been a hot spot. Spain, as people get out of what they perceive to be sovereign, country-specific, and what I think financially will be capital control risk very soon in the United States. And this is important to understand. You will not be able to move your money in the future, at least for a short period of time. Just like we're seeing bank runs out in China right now, and they've put tanks into the streets. I showed you guys that footage. That is a result of depositors not having access to their cash at the financial system. Now, we saw this in 2008-09. Keep that in mind. Congressmen warned of total economic Armageddon unless we bailed out the too big to fail banks, and we had a digital bank run in 2008-09. Well, this time, I believe it's not only going to be digital, it's going to be physical in nature. Okay, so this is going to be a shock for a lot of Americans. I mean, Americans, we've been super blessed here for 50 years, especially you baby boomers out there. I mean, it was pretty much just a straight up shot for the last 50 years with basically no corrections outside of 2008-09, and then what we're living through now, which is obviously an economic collapse. It's a sovereign debt default. Because I've talked about this for years, they can't kick this can down the road too long without massive economic financial consequences, war. I mean, this is why we're pivoting for the World War III currently right now in Ukraine. And we are completely at war right now. That's even what they called it over the last couple of years when they shut everything down. Remember, we're at war? This is like the new Pearl Harbor, right, that they've told us about. And by the way, those masks, those pesky masks are coming back to Los Angeles next week. And they're coming back to a state near you. They haven't gotten rid of those at all either. So again, understand all these changes are permanent. They're absolutely permanent. And this is why you guys need to find, solutions. It's going to be important to prepare. So let's talk about this. How to position and pivot. I'm even going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing and how to potentially profit in a very significant way from what we're currently going through. Because again, can't depend on your job, can't depend on food security, can't depend on energy security, can't depend on your bank, can't depend on your career as they're now freezing hiring. We're also seeing real estate in certain sectors of the economy starting to cool off as a result of interest rates doubling. Of course, the servicing of debt, 30-year mortgages. This is actually why they're going to come out with 50 and 100-year mortgages. The whole mortgage market's a Ponzi scheme. And so eventually, Americans can't afford anything. They're going to rent everything. They're actually going to start coming out and printing 50-year, 100-year mortgages. I mean, think about this for a minute, guys. 100-year mortgages, 50-year mortgages, you'll die before you ever pay it back, which is exactly what they want. This is a form of indentured servitude. It's a debt time bomb, okay, that was created with intent. So the banks could get rich, and so basically the Fortune 100 could get rich and extort and extract all that wealth from you on their own behalf. So what do you do in an environment like this with a recession? Now every headline, right? The news is going to tell you you're in a recession. They want you to know this, okay? Because they're going to give you privy information, right? We're in a recession. Well, what do you typically do during an economic downturn, job losses, rising food, housing costs, etc.? Well, the first thing you can do is cut costs, right? That's something very obvious. And also you can get rid of debt because debt will absolutely crush you in this environment. Okay, in a liquidity debt collapse and in a debt crisis, liquidity is very important and debt will absolutely be the end of you. Okay, so one thing you want to do is manage debt, or at the very least, only be using productive debt on productive assets that actually create cash flow. So this is my point number one in today's video, liquidity. Okay, what does your liquidity situation look like? Okay, no matter if you have, $1,000 on hand or $100,000 at the bank or $1 million, or you have more than that, what's your liquidity situation like? Because we're seeing a flocking to the dollar. They temporarily want to pump up the dollar as the reserve asset before the reset and before they turn on the CBDC, central bank digital currency. Okay, this will happen during war. Okay, during World War III, of which it'll be very easy to declare a debt jubilation. Okay, and also the capital controls that will be needed to shut the banking system down, okay, for their benefit, and then transfer everyone over to the new system. Okay, and we already know what that new system is. It's central bank digital currencies. It's digital fiat, of which they've been test running over the last decade. They've already set up largely in Asian countries. It's really the United States that's the last to move to this new system and new order of total, control worldwide. So your liquidity situation is absolutely key. Okay, you want to be liquid. You want to get out of debt. Debt will crush you. Now, there's good and bad debt. Okay, if you're carrying debt, let's say on a rental property, but you're generating a cap rate of, 10% or whatever the number might be, that's actually productive debt that's actually generating cash flow versus a credit card that just, bought you a Rolex or something like that. Okay, using a credit card to buy a Rolex is bad debt. Unless, actually, they've been good investments, though. They have tripled in value since the pandemic because the dollar's collapsing. But short run, you can't even get a Rolex. It's starting to change maybe a little bit. But yeah, I remember even trying to buy more of them last year. I couldn't even get my hands on them. My dad's got the green monster, which is very rare. It tripled in value during the pandemic. We were joking we should have just bought Rolexes. She should have just gotten into the Rolex business and, bought 1,000 Rolex. It would have tripled our money quite easily. Maybe some of you even did that. You watch collectors out there. So liquidity is a massive issue. Why is liquidity good? Well, liquidity is good because it provides mobility and flexibility, okay, during a collapse where you can move quickly, okay, and you're going to have to move quickly so you can pounce on the opportunities when they present themselves. So I want all of you guys thinking ahead of these trends in advance: job insecurity, food insecurity, country insecurity, banking insecurity. How do you position and prepare to prosper for what we already know is coming, and then tactically play it in a way that you can profit and succeed in basically any environment? So let's talk about this for a minute. Two, my second point, in addition to liquidity being a major theme, temporarily strengthening of the dollar, which is what they want, before they freeze. Okay, they're going to freeze asset classes. Okay, there's going to be a lockdown of financial assets. We just had a lockdown of humans, okay, over the last couple of years. The next lockdown and shutdown will be over banking assets. We're already seeing this in China. They're locking down the banks. You try to go to the bank, get $100 that you got on deposit, they roll in tanks. Okay, so the next freeze, and again, masks are coming back in Los Angeles next week, guys. Probably going to come even back out here to Hawaii. I hope it doesn't. I won't be wearing one, of course, but it's probably you're probably going to start seeing it come back all across the country. I mean, even Biden getting sick, right, is helping further that narrative, right? Fall in line, do what you're told, baa like a sheep to the edge of the cliff, let these people control you, pound you up a little bit, rough you up, keep you in constant state of fear, and then blast headlines all over CNBC telling you about the recession that they caused. Okay, so what we're going to have is economic financial freezes. That actually should have been the title of today's video. Like and share. Financial economic lockdowns. Okay, and this is how they will move into the reset, okay, where they just hit a switch. There are no rules at all, okay? They're just going to hit a switch. It's like a button that they press, and they're going to reset the whole system. They've already laid the foundation for this. What do you think they've been doing the last couple of years? So, point two is you need to create cash flow. So here's my next question for all of you beautiful ladies and gentlemen out there today. What's your cash flow game looking like? Okay, what's your cash flow situation? This can be from your primary source of income, from your job, okay, your employer, or maybe you're self-employed. What does that look like? Is it growing? Is it consistent? Is it declining? And more importantly, is it growing with inflation, okay, which inflation has been outpacing real wage growth statistically in recent years outside of certain areas like tech. Now, I don't say this to brag, but my income has scaled incredibly over the last couple years because I'm in these spaces, in these niches, okay, that are advancing basically the market sector, okay, and these new technological trends. So if you've been in blockchain or crypto or tech, or you work for Google, or you worked for Meta, Apple Computers, you're a programmer, maybe you're learning blockchain, you're a teacher in this space, your income has scaled, or at least that's what it should have done, which has also fueled rising asset bases and asset prices in recent years because of that. Because the rest of the economy is shrinking while a very specific small part of the economy is growing. Okay, this is a disruption. It's a disruptive event. So what is your cash flow situation like? One of the great things that we teach at school, which I'll call you today if you join, first 10 of you that get in with that promo code, link up here, up and down here, is I teach you guys how to create cash flow, okay, by staking crypto, the various asset classes with the highest reward potentials, not financial advice, and how to allocate that and diversify that little mini portfolio to create additional cash flows. And what the beauty of that is you're not only getting paid to wait, where some of these positions have doubled, tripled, 5x, 10x in some cases, and we're in a market now where you should be taking advantage of these opportunities, in my opinion. We are also getting paid to wait. You're getting paid cash flows, like a dividend, okay, with a lot of potential on the upside. Some of you baby boomers out there probably own things like bonds, but bonds pay very little income, right? And that's why the Federal Reserve has held income or interest rates down at zero for so long, because they don't want baby boomers or retirees to make any money. They want to crush you, right? And they want to pump the stock market of which they own so they can buy back their shares at 0% and enrich themselves. Again, name me one billionaire, name me one actor, okay, and name me one Hollywood star or politician who's going to stop flying their Learjet or sunbathing on their super yachts as a result of what they say is going on with weather. Name me one. You won't get anyone. All Hollywood, all the politicians, all of Fortune 100, they pit stop their Learjets on 10-minute flights just for sport, burning fossil fuels. None of them are going to give up their way of life, nor should you. Nor should you. If they tell you that you should, then they should as well. And you should actually force them to give up their way of life as well, because they're not, right? They're living in a completely different, super, hyper elitist bubble that they've created. But one of the reasons the Federal Reserve has held interest rates so low is they've intentionally screwed retirees for years and then forced conservatism, people that would normally just own a bond but can't get, income on $1 million that they saved their whole life, and forced you into stocks and other risky assets, which are now collapsing. It's a bait and switch, right? The Federal Reserve is responsible for this. Just like they shut down the economy, and just like they selected who was essential and non-essential. And now they're bringing back masks again in Los Angeles and other states across the country here in the coming weeks. Everything's going to shut down again this fall. So that's not over at all. And so let's get to our third point. We've gone over liquidity, what's happening with the dollar, how to be mobile in that environment, how debt will crush you if it's bad debt. So you want to get out of bad debt. We saw this in 2008-09 when housing, primary residences, collapsed. Prices in Phoenix went down like, 60, 80% in some cases. So a homeowner, even if they put 20% down and were very conservative, were then underwater. Okay, so they actually owed more to the bank than the home was actually worth. And that's probably going to happen again to some extent in certain markets, or even if it's not housing, in various asset classes. We've seen this in stocks with the liquidity crunch and the deleveraging event, okay, of a lot of this funny money coming out of the system, which is actually healthy. We've talked about the cash flow game. And then my third point is, well, what are you doing to create a new job? Okay, even if you've got a primary job in a primary income situation, you say you have a great employer, you've been working there for years, what happens if you are fired? Okay, what if your job goes away? What if there's just suddenly more competition, or let's say they cut your pay, or they cut your wages, or all of a sudden you're not getting stock options for those of you that have really high paying jobs out there, for those of you fortunate for those types of careers. What if that just completely slows down? What if you're a sales manager and all of a sudden what you're selling doesn't sell anymore? What are you going to do? So no matter how cushy your current situation is, which most Americans don't have that situation, unfortunately, your thought should be, how are you creating alternative income streams, a new job, and your side hustle? to get your cash flow game on, to get your liquidity game on. And here's what's dope about a side hustle in multiple businesses, which I run multiple businesses, is you can use the multiple businesses and the additional cash flows to provide liquidity in an economic storm to buy more assets. Okay, so you see how that works, and that's how the rich get richer. In fact, I'm doing this with Island Project. Our portfolio on behalf of investors is all cash and cash equivalents, whether or not that's dollar equivalents or crypto cash equivalents, making us mobile, portable, with high levels of liquidity. This is what Island Project is doing. So we pounce on the opportunity on behalf of our members and our investors when the time presents itself. And we can move very quickly. There's no contingencies. There's no bank debt. We don't have to call a bank and ask for their permission to buy something. We're working with our own liquidity footprint. And of course, the amazing things I'll be doing with the blockchain component very, very soon that I have not released to the public yet or really spoken of, because I keep that close to the vest. So even myself and my businesses, we're using an increasing liquidity pool to take advantage of the opportunities very nimbly when they present themselves. So for example, one big trend is just buying condos recently, cash flow producing condos, because you can get higher cap rates on a condominium than you can single family houses in certain markets. So a condominium that's a vacation rental, that's a daily rental, maybe you can push a 10% cap rate or something like that, depending on your market, versus a house that you can only rent, 6 months out of the year, and isn't as close to maybe a vacation zone or something like that. You're not going to create that same high levels of cash flow. So I've even seen people, and I've done some of this as well, selling houses and then buying condos to produce the cash flows. Okay, because when you're in a depression or a recession or whatever you want to call it, cash flow, Jesus is king, but in a financial respect, cash flow is king. Okay, so complete talking about, numbers and cents. Cash flow is king and will provide the energy and fuel to the fire, so to speak, for you to take advantage in your perseverance, okay, over the next year. Now, I also want to talk about that because, this year's not going to be easy. Just like the last couple years haven't been easy. We're talking financial shocks and freezes, financial lockdowns. They already physically locked everyone down. Some of that's coming back. We're seeing the masks come back, etc. So this ain't going to be easy. You're going to have to persevere, is what I'm telling you, and enjoy that process a little bit. Perseverance, in my view, in my opinion, makes the man or makes the woman. Your ability to creatively find solutions in your life and be productive and always eternally optimistic will be the difference between your success and failure. So let me just say that as we're in this storm, my job as a mentor and as your coach at school, which you should be joining right now so I can call you today and get in, is to motivate you guys and to keep you guys consistently aware of changing market conditions and trends, identifying those opportunities on your behalf so you can pounce. Okay, so we do that where you can educate yourself and like a wildfire have that ripple effect, XRP to the freaking moon, and you can do that for yourself. And I also do that on behalf of our community and of course Island Project and our real estate portfolio that I've been building over the last 2 years out here in beautiful Malibu, is taking advantage of those opportunities very smartly. Liquidity is a massive issue. Debt, the bad debt will crush you with what's coming, so expect that. You've got to create cash flows. If you don't have multiple streams of income, you need to take my course because I'll teach you how to generate multiple streams of income, starting with just your first $1,000 a month. That might not sound like a lot, but you got to start small. I always say this, and incrementally boost your cash flows and income over time. I remember when I first made my first $100 on YouTube 15 years ago, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I can make money doing this. And then I quickly scaled that over a short to long period of time. And then, as you go 10 years, you'll find this as you get older, as you go about like 5-10 years and you're consistently doing something and you never give up, all of a sudden you start hitting grand slams. Like things start getting easier. So let's talk about that. Making your first $100,000 will be the toughest thing you've ever done in your life. Okay, unless you've like inherited it or someone's given it to you, which is fine and that's cool. If that's happened to you, then you're gonna wanna preserve that and grow that. But the hardest point, because I've had to do this for myself, is going from 0 to the first 100K. Okay, that's going to be the toughest thing that you do. Once you have 100K, the next tough thing to do is to go from 100K to $1 million. I've noticed, at least through my life, is that once you get to $1 million or $2 in total liquid net worth outside of your home, okay, making you an accredited, technical investor, so to speak, things end up getting a lot easier after that. You've built momentum. It's like Sisyphus pushing the rock up a mountain and then hitting another, but it starts to get easier, and the boulder starts rolling, with better momentum, direction, and ease. Once you start breaking that barrier, I was talking to one of our investors, for example, Island Project yesterday. He said he invested in, I forget what the crypto specifically was. He's been a member at my school. He said he invested $30,000, and in the last bull cycle went as high as $2 million. And I'm not sure if he took profits on that or not. We didn't get into too many details, but his $30,000 investment turned to $2 million. So here's how I want to position all of you guys, not just for Island Project, which you should be getting involved, and we're onboarding everybody, and at school, bitcoinrich.com, privately. You should be doing that. My goal, and this is not financial advice, is to take all of you guys, no matter where you are, okay, and help you create these cash flows and opportunities. As you rise in the upcoming new bull markets, which might take a year or two to play out, once you have that growing liquidity, to be smart with it. You always want to learn your lessons from the past, learn from your mistakes, and then a sign of an intelligent, smart individual is not repeating those same mistakes. So here's my other point in today's video. Don't get down on yourself. Like, if you've lost money, or your business hasn't worked, or you've gotten a divorce, your relationship hasn't worked, maybe your health sucks right now, you haven't been paying attention to your body, instead of viewing it negatively and getting down on yourself, okay, and being pessimistic, just decide to change today. Okay, and you can do that right now by declaring your own independence and joining us at school at bitcoinrich.com with the promo code, the 50% off today only. And I'll even call you for the first 10. I'll reach out to you, which is pretty cool. So the opportunity is also massive. I'm not the only one talking about this. I mean, Tony Robbins, all the motivators, they all know we're in World War III. Tony Robbins does. Go listen to some of his footage recently. He's echoing a lot of the things I'm saying in some respects. And he's a great motivator. He knows we're in a recession, depression. He knows there's a high potential of actual brute force conflict with China. He's even talked about that. He says, for example, we move in cycles and almost like weather patterns where everything's cyclical in life, depending on where you are in life. If you're 20, you're just starting out. If you're 40, like me, you're kind of in the mid phase, right? If you're 70, you're on a different cycle of life. Okay. Typically, you make your most money too. If you're in disruptive places like tech, that can actually happen pretty easily in your 20s if you're smart, especially for those of you that don't have a lot of expenses. And if you're single, which can be an advantage too, where you're able to compound high levels of growth when you're young. It can be different if you're older, if you got family and kids and mouths to feed. Maybe you've got a little bit less flexibility, but you can actually make high levels of income and high levels of concentrated wealth. And you always want to concentrate, okay, what's working. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. You always hear people say diversify, 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 diversify. No, it's the opposite. Concentrate your position, okay, in the one thing that's working, that's creating cash flows, income, and or success. Magnify it. Start small, incrementally take it to 1,000x. Grow it as feverishly, as you can. Stoke the fire. After you get rich, diversify. Okay, after you get rich, you diversify. I've done this. Okay, making the concentrated, most of my wealth in tech, right, online, in e-commerce, and social media, and all those things. And then once growing that, diversifying into real estate, which is what I'm doing with Island Project, and then other businesses that I've launched like rentmauijeeps.com, etc., and other ventures that I don't discuss online. So you hear that all the time. You want to diversify. No, you want to do precisely the opposite. You diversify after you're rich to preserve wealth. To make money and to create wealth, you concentrate, hard hitting it in your face. And this is why you should concentrate your education. And I'm going to talk more about this because I think this is very helpful today at school. So, hiring freezes. We've seen tech asset bubbles, start to fizzle a little bit. We've seen crypto come down, which is why it's a massive opportunity to get in now. We've seen the pandemic bubbles of the lockdowns and shutdowns, and we see part of that coming back. geopolitical instability with food insecurity, energy insecurity, and job insecurity. So let's get to the crux, okay, of what you can be doing today. And also, too, you'll notice with money, money flocks to people that know how to make money. That's why if you're in an office, maybe in sales, marketing, financial stuff, or whatever it might be, you'll notice that it's always the one dude or the one gal that does 95% of the business in the office. And that's because money flocks to strength. It flocks to people with a plan, that know what to do with it, that persevere, have intelligence, integrity, okay, and know how to make money. Okay, this defines the world's best money managers in the world, the best real estate investors in the world, the best social media marketers in the world, the best crypto blockchain experts in the world. No matter what you do, you could be a professional, I always joke, juggler. If you're the best professional juggler in the world, you'll do really well because you're the best at it. But let me talk about the crux, and these are major takeaways I'm giving for free, and I give so much more at school. You guys should really join and take the risk on yourself today to improve your body, mind, soul, your spirit, your life, and then in addition to that, create the cash flows so you can fight back, stand up and declare your independence in an economic storm and profit from it. The goal is to profit from it, guys. I want to hear more people tell me, like my student yesterday, that their $30,000 investment turned into $2 million as a result of their education and investing in themselves, all of which you can do at school. So, and there's a link there, Today Out Friday offer. So make sure you take advantage of that. So here's what I'm seeing right now, and I think this is a very smart look, and I think it's very applicable to a lot of you tuning in. Let's talk about defense versus offense, okay, in this environment. There's a lot of fear in the market. People are scared. The news wires are telling you we're in a recession, war. Even the president's in isolation right now. It's fear and more fear. Okay, they're talking about January, that number right now, spreading more fear, right? Okay, so what they're doing psychologically is corralling the herd, okay, and they're doing this intentionally. They want to corral the herd and put you into a corner so you're immobile. You know, in a state of fear, parts of your brain don't even work properly. Some of you probably know this, but parts of your brain turn off. When you're in a state of fear, you lack creativity, you lack problem solving skills, you lack the ability to innovate, you lack the ability to see opportunities. And I think this is a lot of you guys, and I'm not trying to be too hard because a lot of you are not in this mindset, but there's a lot of you potentially, this could be you, and I hope it's not. Change your mindset today with me. Do it, thinkandgrowbitcoinrich.com at school, okay? But a lot of people are in so much fear and preservation mode that you're not seeing the opportunities and the leverage points. You'll never turn $30,000 into to 2 million, or who knows, 20 million. You'll never do that like you were reading in the blockchain space over the last couple of years, $1,000 on Dogecoin, the doggy turns into like 100 million. You'll never do that because you're missing the point, right? So you're also not creating any kind of competitive footprint. When you're doing what everyone else is doing in a marketplace, in an economy, in a job, or with school, which we're seeing school not be really worth much anymore. That's why I encourage you to go to specialized academies like bitcoinrich.com. You'll get more value than that, honestly, in the blockchain space specifically, than you will at a Harvard MBA. And I've attended and literally sat in at some of these blockchain courses at Wharton, for example. I was a couple years back. I sat and audited at the very famous MBA Wharton Business School some of the blockchain courses, and I kind of laughed how dumb it was and how they didn't even know what they were talking about at Wharton. So defense versus offense, okay? So let's talk about what a lot of people are doing, and these are good things. I want you to do this. Prepping, right? Increase liquidity so you can pivot and you've got mobility, okay? And you can take advantage of opportunities when they happen and you can move quicker than everyone else. I mean, this is what we're doing in the real estate game right now, creating cash flows, paying annual distributions to our investor base, building out our portfolio, doing it in all cash, no debt, no bank leverage, because again, what's going to happen? Asset freezes. The whole point of Island Project, for example, is to get out of dollars, right? Get out of dollars and out of fiat and to deploy it into assets that will continue to appreciate, that will continue to have physical value, and then blockchainify it with that liquidity event, which is what I'm doing. So there's defense versus offense. You want to play defense. You want to prepare. Like, for example, you can store 6 months of food. What happens when the 6 months runs out? Okay, this is why homesteading has become more popularized and in vogue, and I'm 100% support homesteading. This is why we own agricultural land and productive farmland, is because you can't just prep for a certain period of time. You've got to create sustainable models, okay, that can continue to have success over longer periods of time. Like if you're growing your own food, you can continue to grow your own food. But if you're only storing food for a couple of months, you're eventually going to run out. So here's my point. I'm not going to beat the dead horse of the defense side of things too long because I want to get to the proactive side here in a moment. But too many of you are only playing defense, okay? This will come back to bite you hard. Not only will you not identify opportunities, not only are you not seeing creatively and then pivoting and leveraging yourself into other areas of the economy that are really disruptive right now and growing, okay? You can't just have a good defense, is what I'm saying. Same thing in sports. You know what the best defense is? A damn good offense, okay? That's the best defense. So you got to do both. You want to do both, okay? Defense, and now let's move into offense. What can you do? Okay, this is the value of my course, actually, bitcoinrich.com, why you should take advantage of it. Not to mention the phone call for the first 10 of you and a name drop. One, you need to be planning ahead. You need to identify future trends, understand where the global economy is, understand where the leverage points are, understand where the disruption is, and then figure out and see what other people can't. Then you've got to act and position, pivot into it before everyone else. Perfect example of this was social media. I pivoted into social media full time 16 years ago. People thought I was crazy. They didn't understand it. They said I would never make any money. It turns out I've made millions of dollars online, and a lot of the social media influencers you follow make millions of dollars as well online. People didn't understand that. It was early. People didn't get it. It was very disruptive. To me, it was very obvious. Just like today, the new pivot points, and this includes e-commerce and all this stuff right now, is in tech. It's in blockchain, okay? It's in cryptocurrency technology. It's in new asset classes like fractionalized assets, which we're the first mover in that space with Island Project. By the way, fractionalizing premier real estate on behalf of our members and our private group. And so you need to find and pivot into what's the new thing, okay? What's happening? What are the new identifiable trends? So for example, social media is still a massive tool for your success, and you're going to want to use it. And I teach you those skills as well as school tips, tricks, how to get people's attention, marketing skills, also do just kind of insider knowledge of, how to place content that other people don't know. You learn this stuff through trial and error, things that you could only learn over 15 years of basically trying and doing everything to see what works and what doesn't work. And that's the beauty of social media, is you can actually see in real time what actually works, right? Which you can't do, you couldn't have done in the past. Right, the scalability, okay, of the internet brings opportunity to all of you tuning in that never existed decades ago, right? So you're now more hyper-competitive if you're smart than you ever were before. You don't need to be from a special family. You don't need to work for Goldman Sachs. Your parents don't have to be rich in this economy. I mean, the Liver King, look at the Liver King, right? The big buff dude on Instagram, I follow him. I think he's pretty cool. I like his feed. This guy's completely doing everything non-traditional. He's got a shirt off all the time. He's like lifting massive weights. He's this huge bodybuilder. He's having a good time, and he's making millions of dollars, I would guess probably monthly, just doing that. Think about that for a minute. It's pretty wild. So you got to play offense. So let's talk about the specifics of offense. Plan ahead, identify the new trends, pivot, learn ahead of time. 2, what's the best thing you can do in an economic storm? Let's say you just lost your job. Let's say your income hasn't grown in the last year. Let's say that your real wage growth isn't growing with inflation. Maybe you're out of a job and you're unemployed. Maybe you just got laid off, whatever it might be. What's the best thing you can do in that situation? Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Okay, the best thing you can do is invest in something that's going to pay the highest dividend the highest human cap rate that you could possibly find. And what is the best thing that you could ever invest in? Yourself, you. And this is why you should invest in yourself today, and join us at bitcoinrich.com, because I'll change your mindset and I'll teach you all these skills, how to pivot, leverage, and profit, and identify the new trends along with us as we build these things together. You know, we're building the Island Project, the digital Noah's Ark, together. Okay, myself, our investors, my team. That's a beautiful, amazing thing. And again, money is attracted to people that know how to make money. And money is just an asset and a resource that you compound. And it is a tool for your own success. It, for example, provides options and flexibility in an economic storm. If you don't have cash flows and you don't have new business opportunities and you're not investing in yourself and learning new skills, you're dying. Okay, so that would be my other proposition to you today, is that have you challenged yourself recently? Have you attempted to step outside of the box? Maybe you're a baby boomer. Maybe you're 70 years old watching this. Have you kind of given up learning new skills? Because if you have, you're dying. Okay? From an educational perspective, you've got to continue to challenge and push yourself, just like you push yourself in the gym to failure. That's why it's good to have a spotter. Okay? And I would consider myself your spotter at school. I'm your bitcoinrich.com 1000 freaking X spotter. Right? Because I'm going to push you guys to failure, okay? So that you can break through the barrier to scale higher incrementally with 1000x results. And I've done this. I mean, you've seen me evolve over the years. You've seen me grow, expand into new business models. And, I'm very thankful. I have a lot of success in recent years, which I'm totally humbled by. And God has always provided for me. And hopefully that continues. And that would be awesome if it does. If he's got a new set of rules for me or something else he wants me to do, that's cool too. You know, it's not about money. So I do want to make that point to you guys. But it's about finding what matters to you, okay? You hear this a lot, like live your best life. I think you should be, serving your best life, like serving others, serving God, serving a community, building inroads and infrastructures to expand and build new cool stuff, to be the innovators and the problem solvers and the people that find solutions in an economic collapse. I mean, number one, I don't know about you, but I'm drawn to people that are strong, and I'm drawn to people that have positivity and optimism, that have solutions. And I also model myself after people more successful than myself, right? I listen to a billionaire. I might not agree with everything they say, but I'll learn as much as I can on a certain subject, if they're the expert, because you want to learn from those types of people, right? You always want to be in a room where everyone else is smarter than you, honestly, more talented than you. Same thing in sports. That's how you get better in sports, is by getting the crap kicked out of you by the elite athletes that then helps promote your growth to become an elite athlete. And then you pay it forward later on, which is always kind of fun too, especially in the athletic world. So you got to get out there and play offense. You got to invest in yourself. You've got to identify new opportunities. You've got to start creating side hustle, cash flow, multiple streams of income. And most importantly, you've got to take some freaking risk. Okay, so many of you are and so many people I know in this world, this even includes, some friends that I have, which I love them for who they are, but they're so fearful of risk. They never want to take a risk. They're so scared, And I've heard this from people for years. It's like, Christopher, I want to start a business. How do you do it? I'm like, you just start it. And you just learn as you go along, and you make mistakes, and you get beat up, and then you figure out how to make money, and then you compound it, and you incrementally increase your growth rate. Same thing with, your physical body, your health and wellness, your soul, your spirit, your relationships as well. If you're not investing into your wife or your husband and growing your relationship, then that relationship is dying. Okay? So you've got to take risk. Now, here's what's cool about that statement, which sounds so scary. You don't have to take all the risk in the world, okay? You can take calculated risks. For those of you that are risk adverse, this is what I teach at school. I always tell you guys, take, at least 1%, maybe 5-10% of your total net worth, and learn and buy crypto. Why not? Learn the new skill. Even if you don't do that, at least learn about it, understand it, and then use it and apply it to maybe a job or something like that will help you create more income. Even if you're not directly participating in the market itself. you don't want anything to do with crypto, I would say just learn about it then. Learn about these trends and pivot points into the future. So, I'm a risk taker. I'm a high risk taker. That's just kind of how I live my life. It's high risk also pays huge dividends and massive rewards. And I wouldn't have grown as fast, I don't think, that I have without taking those risks. Okay, but that's kind of a yo-yoing risk-return relationship. You have to evaluate, how well you can sleep at night. I mean, truth be told, the real bold entrepreneurs out there, we have such a thick skin, and we operate at a level that's so much higher, honestly, than most people that they couldn't even handle the pressure on a daily basis. What I think has helped me grow with that is honestly in sports. Sports were always so intense, physically taxing and demanding, and violent, honestly, that I would even say it's almost like going to being in war or something like that, like a battlefield, right? It gives you a high level, thick skin. Okay, and really serious, good entrepreneurs know how to operate. Like even Elon Musk. I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk, but his companies almost went bankrupt multiple times, before Tesla blew up into what it is today. Okay, so, the hardcore entrepreneur is taking a lot of risk, which does not have to be you. Take a little risk. Just invest in yourself. Learn about something new today. You'll see that that's a common theme and a common trend. Okay, I've always looked at it like, what do you have to lose? Like, no one's going to live forever anyways. Like, what, you're supposed to be scared or fearful of, taking a risk? Like, the only risk is not taking a risk. Like, honestly, again, a lot of my friends that have wanted to start their businesses are now 50 years old. They've still not started the business. And they're going to die not starting the business. You see what I'm saying? So don't let that be you. Don't think that you've got time. You don't. There should be a high level of urgency today, whether or not your health, your body, your mind, your cash flows, your business gains, whatever it is. Take action today and decide for the first time in your life to change your mindset to 1000x your life. Okay? So invest in yourself with the skills, with the knowledge, with the community network. That's what BitcoinRich.com is, a community network. That's what Island Project is in a very highly specialized way, targeting real estate, Island Project real estate, and building all that out, replicating that worldwide. Skills, knowledge, network. Portability and mobility will also be extremely important. And then, once you get the big gains, okay, and I can guarantee, not that you'll get rich, not that you're going to make $1 million, but I'll guarantee if you stick with a good strategy, which I teach at school, and you never give up, and you continue to innovate, pivot yourself, learn, and invest in yourself, you will be massively successful. You will be massively successful. Most people give up right before they're about to break through to the other side, kind of like the Doors song. Break through to the other side, something like that, right? This is the end, beautiful friend, the end. So, most people give up and quit right when they start to get a little dirt in their face, or things start to get a little hairy or ugly. And that is actually just about the time you're going to have the major breakthrough and the major revelation. That's also something I think I help our students at school is I keep pushing you, and I do this publicly as well, keep pushing you guys in any circumstance. Your perseverance, your optimism, okay, your ability to maintain strength physically, mentally, spiritually is probably the most important one. I was praying this morning, just on my knees. It wasn't long, but I was there for, I don't know, maybe a minute. And I was praying, I'm giving everything to the Lord, and I didn't really have words for it, but I was just praying to Him. That's where all my strength is coming from, frankly. So that's powerful stuff. I mean, some of you might meditate and notice the difference and impact that'll have in your life if you wake up and instead of the first thing you do is open your cell phone, and all of a sudden you're getting hammered with phone calls, voicemails, text messages, news that's disruptive, social media, all this kind of stuff. But if you wake up and you pray first, it sets the tone for the entire day. Suddenly, instead of being reactive, okay, you're in control of the day. Right? It's like that book. What was it called? Was it the 4-Hour Work Week or the 5? I can't remember. Right? It was one of those books, but he talked a lot about that. He would only schedule emails, at certain times of the day. So this is your moment, ladies and gentlemen. This is your last warning to prepare. And it's not all going to be bad. If you are able to pivot now, learn the skills, identify the trends, not just play defense, but also go on the offense. Learn about crypto, learn about blockchain, create new cash flow, start a new business, start a new side hustle, or maybe just beef up your resume and skill set. You will find yourself in a much stronger position in the coming months. The truth is, what's happening in America, worldwide, with the economy, look, it's not going to be good. This is going to be tough. Like I open with this video, perseverance will define you in this environment. Those that succeed will only be the ones making these big changes and moves now in their life. So how do you make that big move and change, Christopher? Come on, Mr. Guru over here. Give me a piece of advice. The first thing to do today is to change what you're thinking about. This ripple, your mind, your soul, your spirit, is your most powerful asset that you have. And what you put out into the world, you'll notice this and you'll find this will come right back to you. If you're praying to God or His will, it'll come to you. Okay? If you're thinking about or praying or meditating about something happening in your life, you'll notice it typically happens. You are what you think about. You are what you think about. There's a lot of success stories like this as well, like Mike Lindell, right? The My Pillow guy. The guy was a former crack addict. Think about that for a minute. A crack addict turned believer billionaire. That's an incredible story. I don't know him personally. I've never interviewed him or anything like that. That's incredible. Grant Cardone, you probably follow him as an influencer. I'm a fan as well. He does a lot of really cool stuff. Drug addict to billionaire. That's pretty awesome. So you can do it, is what I'm telling you. Okay, you can make a change. David Goggins, I love the Goggins. Stay hard, right? Stay hard. David Goggins. My tagline, trademarked, hard hitting and in your face, kind of goes along with that. Same thing with 1000X. All similar mindsets. This guy was in a shower eating donuts, 100 pounds overweight, heard a commercial about Navy SEALs, and decided to just change his whole life. Now he's out there every single day staying hard. Liver King, out there in social media, eating freaking raw liver, making millions of dollars a month, having a good time, building this community. I mean, that's cool. How is that not even just fun? So that's the other part of the journey too, is be of light heart, good nature, good spirit, laugh at yourself a little bit in this environment. Yes, we're in an economic collapse. Yes, we are in the middle of a world war. There's going to be asset freezes, financial lockdowns. Those are coming. We're already seeing them start to spread in places like China. This will, I think, feather out into Europe and the West and the Americas very, very soon. We've already seen all the strategic people relocation. Well, now what we're seeing is financial strategic relocation before the lockdowns. So how do you get out of sovereign money? How do you get out and diversify from sovereign risk? Very easy. You join us at bitcoinrich.com and you just invest in yourself and learn about it. We've got a special promo code today. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It goes away. Today only, if you enter the promo code Island Project, it is one word, Island Project, and you click the link below or just go to bitcoinrich.com. You get in, you get all of our content and more, all of our videos. You can learn about everything that we're doing, all the tips, how to create cash flows, how to earn staking rewards, all of my 1000X plus potential picks. I'll be coming out with a few more of those soon. Learn about Island Project, obviously, of course, what I'm doing in the real estate game, changing the whole ball game with fractionalized ownership in a highly specialized way, and then tokenizing and blockchainifying it for our founding members, which I think is going to 1000X, not guaranteed, but I have full intent. I think Island Project will 1000X. That's why I'm building it. That's why I'm doing it. Okay, check that out. You also get all of our AMTV uploads, a lot of the videos that are no longer online for various reasons. So you get all that as well. You get our forum section and groups. Okay, you get first mover access to self-help videos, all the interviews I've done in the past, famous rants, even some old videos from Freedom Fest, which is pretty cool, and a lot more. And we have app developments, apps in development on all. You can access all this on your cell phone, just like you're doing now. Very easy to do. Okay, that's pretty much all I have today. Now, feel free as we close out. Oh yeah, I'm gonna read some names. Got to do that. I don't want to forget that. So join now. This will be cool. And I'll read your name out and take the risk on yourself today. Again, guys, this is about you tuning in. This is about living your best life, in my opinion, and serving your best life, right? It's not like, we hear the world say things like, live your best life, but I would flip that script and say, serve your best life. When I die someday, whenever it is, when God, turns the lights off, and hopefully I got a lot more time, I hope I can just be happy and think to myself, hey man, you really left it all on the table, Christopher. That was a fun ride, man, and you did a lot of good for the world, and hopefully I've helped people out. Hopefully I've helped you. Hopefully I had an impact, made a change, made a difference. Hopefully I helped level people up. Hopefully I made an impact with my children, my family, my wife, my community, my churches. I mean, that would really just be kind of my goal. Would just, to, even if it's just in a small way, right? Having a ripple effect in a large footprint, which I believe you guys are the tidal wave. To me, I'd be pretty darn happy. And honestly, I am pretty darn happy today and pretty just grateful for everything that I have. Grateful. I had all the time with my brother before he passed this year, just a couple of months ago. Grateful for that. Grateful for all those moments. Grateful for the laughter and the joy that is life. And so I also just kind of want to leave you on that kind of heartfelt note too. Have some fun with this. Don't get down on yourself. Life is so short, guys. Have some fun too. Okay, and while you're doing that, kick some major friggin' ass. Okay, and be the good guy. Island Project, we're the good guys, right? We're fighting BlackRock. We're fighting Goldman Sachs. Okay, we're enriching our founders and the little dudes and dudettes out there. Okay, people can't get into these prized assets. Well, we're gonna do it as a community, right? I mean, so be the men and women out there for good. And I want to thank all of you out there, for those of you that support me, that have supported me over the years, that I'm working with at school, that motivate me, that pray with me. You guys are amazing. I truly owe you everything. And if you allow me the opportunity to, I will continue to carry that torch to the end of my days. To the end of my days. And I'll do it on behalf of Island Project. I'll do it on behalf of Bitcoin Rich. I'll do it behind, everything that we're doing. Okay? But it's something that we all have to do. And if we're going to have an impact in this world and have the ripple to turn it into a tidal wave and take our freedom and liberty back, we've got to create new infrastructure, new systems. We've got to create wealth, too, in multiple areas, not just with money. Health, wealth, love, happiness, spiritual life, relationships, community, churches. Okay, we're going to have to find solutions, and then we're going to have to go out and magnify it in a serious way. You are the solution in your own life. Oftentimes, it's you that's the problem, too. So if you're the problem, and there's truth to this, get out of that mindset. All right. I see Shane Benson Fisher just joined. I got Rick Reza just joined. And again, if you join now, I'll go back and find the first 10 of you that joined BitcoinRich.com and our school. And if you'd like, I don't have to, if you just want to remain anonymous or whatever it is, but I'd be happy to give you a call. TAZ, Mr. Taz from Boston, Maryland. What is up, dude? So good to have you as a part of this school. I also have Ames out of Seaside, Oregon, and Enlist the Arisa just joined as well. Any questions as I sum up today on anything that we have just talked about? And is there anything else? Yeah, never stop earning, never stop hustling, never stop growing. Yeah, I see Ford laying off 8,000. Yeah, if the job losses are coming, guys, it sounds like you need to create jobs. Sounds like you need to create cash flows, right? Sounds like you guys need to create opportunities. Sounds like you need to identify trends. And by the way, liquidity is going to be massive, right? So if you've got liquidity and you've prepped in advance, you're going to be able to act in your own life to take advantage so you have those 1000x moments. That's how you get there. Everyone sees the home run and thinks that happened randomly, but doesn't see the baseball player, practicing, warming up, working on his swing, lifting weights, the mental focus, the clarity that he needs, how to read a fastball, how to read a curve. Like, they just see the glory moment. Okay, so you're only going to get to those moments by putting in the work and the energy and changing mindsets and growing and pivoting and reinventing yourself to a certain extent so you grow further. Life's a journey. You shouldn't want to be static. In fact, if you're depressed, oftentimes it's because your life is too static. You're not getting a new experience. You're not learning a new skill. You're not engaging in a new relationship, career. It's because things get kind of boring when you're doing the same thing every single day. Some of that is good. You're going to have to do that. But you've got to keep expanding and growing. As well, hey, Georgia, really appreciate it. I know you're a long-time subscriber and supporter. I really appreciate it. Sean, what is up? Also, too, for those of you coming out to Maui, definitely check out my Jeep website, rentmauijeeps.com. Check it out. We got a few rides, baby. In August, I'd love to come see you. I just had Larry Killian out here. He was on the others. He's a member. And he just flew out and he stayed over Lahaina side for a couple days with his beautiful family. Looked like they had a good time. He sent me a couple photos. And, well, thank you, Heavy Metal Hair Salon. Good to see you. You're doing great, too. Yeah, I had a great birthday. And thank you for all of the well wishes. Like, honestly, means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Jesus Christ has changed my life, and he can change yours, too, if you seek him. And the gospel. I didn't catch your name there, but I totally agree with that. Absolutely. He is Lord. Yeah, and if you start walking now, walking for health benefits is massive. I think I've mentioned that I've trimmed up a lot just from walking. So I definitely encourage walking. It's low impact, and you'll burn a lot of calories. Maui wowie. I see the blue moon. The blue moon. And, speaking of which, after my birthday last night, I did wake up this morning and I blew some candles out on a cake and had cake this morning. Not the healthiest, but it was my birthday. So it was my post-birthday cake. So again, nothing would make me more happy for my post-birthday than to see all of you beautiful people at school. I give you a phone call, first 10 that come in, and learn all the skills that you need to prepare. The point is, what else are you going to do? I could point you to a dozen videos right now that would tell you about all the terrible things ahead and what's coming and how to lock down and prepare. But then what? But then what? What are you going to do after that? Many of you are missing the opportunity. What are they going to do towards the end of this year? Okay, they're going to repump and recapitalize in the reset, the new system. Those of you positioned will profit. Okay, and this is like the point of the video. You'll profit from that if you're smart. If you're just hunkering down, like imagine if all you did was hunker down in 2008-09. You missed the most giant liquidity wealth bubble in world history. More money was made post 2008-09 than we had ever seen ever. Same thing with 2001. The same thing's going to happen in the 2020s and 2022. So if you're only playing defense, that's what you're going to get. You're never going to see those big jumps, is what I'm saying. So some conservatism is good, but you got to put money to work as well. Don't be afraid to spend money. Money's energy. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and join us at school. It's $200. I mean, that's easy, guys. Everyone can get in. Don't be afraid to invest in your own knowledge. If you won't invest in yourself, no one will. And you certainly won't get the rewards, okay, that you're seeking if you don't invest in yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your business, your cash flows, all those kinds of things. Money is energy, and what you put out comes back with a game plan and a blueprint for your success. Anyways, I love you guys. God bless. Jesus Christ is King. It is Friday. I'll have more update videos for you like these. It is a blessing and an honor to be here today. Learn about everything we're doing with real estate, Maui Boo, the Island Project. I want to see you guys and learn more at school. I'll be revealing a new 1,000x pick very soon as well. Also teaching more about how to create cash flows, staking rewards, all that kind of stuff. Not financial advice, and also the trends and the things I'm doing to provide, more liquidity options finding solutions so that we can all pivot and profit as a community for those massive 1,000 freaking X gains, 2022 and beyond. And believe me, it's going to happen, guys. Like, again, best time to get in was 2008-09. Best time to get in was 2001. Best time to get in was 1929, after the stock market crashed. So no matter how bad it gets, all of this stuff is seasonal, and then it'll pivot and we'll be into a new cycle. And notice what's happened in recent years. These events are shorter links, shorter time waves. So this lockdown economic financial freeze is going to happen, okay, and then it'll be done, and then they're going to pump again. And who's it going to benefit? All those fossil fuel burning, what's the word? Hypocrites, okay, that ain't going to stop flying those coal-powered Lear jets and sunbathing on those super yachts, which includes all of Washington, D.C., every single politician, every single Fortune 100 billionaire, from Elon Musk, who wants to sell you on an electric vehicle while he burns fossil fuels every single day. I mean, again, guys, these guys always win. They always get richer. Don't reinvent the wheel. Learn, model, okay? Change your behaviors. And then in addition to that, be the good guy. Be the good guy. My goal, I want to create more, multi-millionaire, maybe you'll be a billionaire, who knows? I want to create more multi-millionaire Christians. I want to create more multi-millionaires. You don't have to be a Christian, you can be anything. But like, I want you guys to go out and be the game-changing tidal wave. You see what I'm saying? The whole goal is to give you guys tools to improve your life. I mean, that's what I want for myself, tools to improve my life. That's what you should want, tools to improve your life. And then a community and a support infrastructure, which is what the BitcoinRich.com community and what Island Project is now in real life, on the ground, tangible, getting out of dollar assets before the asset freezes. So I'm telling you, if you've been on the fence, just understand that. I mean, this is regarding what I'm doing in the real estate game. There's going to be asset freezes. So you want to at least diversify and get out of what I believe will soon be illiquid assets, because liquidity is going to be massive. Take 5% and join us and learn about what we're doing with Island Project so that you're parked in a real asset with no debt, no leverage, and it's something that you own and control, which it's not going to get any better than that. So you've got to dip your toe into the water here. And also, too, what's amazing just from a real estate perspective, I'm on the forefront along with my team in what is literally blowing up into the next Malibu. I expect all these homes in our portfolio to triple in the next few years. The way that we've built it, constructed it, and with the properties that we're acquiring, we have a serious strategic advantage that honestly no one else in the world has. Even from a marketing perspective, like the project has me, which I can reach millions of people. Who else can do that? That's really, that's a blessing. So I'm humbled by that, but it's also really cool. And it's going to help all of us lever up, right? Reward all of you guys tuning in to get to that next phase, right? So that you can keep hitting it out of the park and build what I've called and dubbed the digital Noah's Ark Island Project. Islandproject.com, you can check that out as well. But the first thing, it's a requirement that you join at school. You can't get in otherwise. We can't offer it to you otherwise. I can't offer it publicly. I can only offer it privately. So I love you guys. Last chance to get in. I'll see if there's any more names to reward you guys about that, which I will certainly do. And you can click that link right now. And I'll read here. Got two more of you. I'll read your name right now. I got Mark B86. Just join BitcoinRich.com. Just join BitcoinRich.com. And I also have, there's one more of you out of Minneapolis, John Fly-Gur. John Fly-Gur just joined as well. I think I got one more person coming in. One more person, Cupcake. Cupcake Wheeler just joined. Anyways, guys, I'm Christopher Green. God bless you. Happy Friday. Consistency, perseverance is key. Your mindset is key. And, I'm expecting 1,000x gains. Not financial advice. God bless you. Jesus Christ is King. It is an honor. And thank you for the birthday wishes. I'll be talking to all of you soon, especially our students that just joined.